The Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe is a resilient community who have lived on the lands of this area for thousands of years. Community Art Collaborative, the Plymouth Public Library, and the Herring Pond Tribe together created a coloring book and resource guide to help educate all children about the important story and heritage of this indigenous tribe. We went on the local scene to the Plymouth Public Library for the unveiling of this incredible work.
This is Quincy Harding's sister. Brings back flowers and other wildlife that leave during the winter.
What are we doing here today? We are launching the Herring Pond Coloring and Resource Guide for children who are K through, 92.
Interesting stories to share. Some are shared at family gatherings and some have been written.
The coloring book is the story of the Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe. It is their stories, their histories. It is designed to help educate and inform the people of Plymouth, but also the surrounding counties and hopefully the country.
So the relationship with the CAC and the Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe came about a couple of years ago when we did a partnership with Plymouth Public Schools, and we had a camp, a 4-day camp through our Diners Path with about 6 students and Herring Pond members in the CAC.
The Community Art Collaborative was founded to create and tell stories that we don't always hear. And it occurred to Meclina and I as we started to create friendships and relationships with this beautiful tribe that their story was not one that had been told as well as it should be, and that our children were growing up and not understanding an important part that Indigenous peoples play in our communities today.
I think as Indigenous people, and I think particularly for Herring Pond, we were always in history written as very autonomous, but we can't confuse autonomy with extinction, because we're obviously not extinct. So speaking out and sharing our story is never more important. Our autonomy over the years, unfortunately, in some ways, I always say our silence will perpetuate our erasure. And it's really critical that we not only share our history. I mean, how important is the history of that little tribe and at the center and the ground zero of colonization, than to share that history with the town. We're often we feel invisible often in the story. Of course, we're part of the greater Wampanoag Nation. We know it was a 60 plus loose confederation of many different tribes, but the Herring Pond people have, been written in the records, and since the early 15th century when these things were being documented, and until today, and we trace our descendants back to those times in Plymouth, in Manomet, in Cedarville, in Bourndale. And I mean, it's critical that we share it, especially in Plymouth, in Bourne, and in Barnstable and Plymouth counties in southern New England. I mean, it really is. So we have to share the story.
Kids are big sponges. They'll learn from whatever you put in front of them. So just having this in front of them, having them get this exposure is going to be great, because they're going to learn so much more about the Herring Tribe than they knew before.
Make ink and dye for art. You can use berries
I
to make your
learned
own wine.
how you can make berries into paint. What you have to do is you have to squish the berries and then you paint with them and it makes paint. Because you use the juice from the berries.
The coloring book is broken into 3 sections. The first section of the coloring book talks about the change of seasons. Did you know that the Herring Pond Tribe celebrates the beginning of the year in the spring? I didn't know until we started working on this coloring book. It also goes into folklore and stories that are shared. And then the last section of the coloring book talks about arts and crafts.
The coloring book is all about education. So for a very long time, we have lots of education about pilgrims and how they fit into Plymouth. So it was great to have something where it's the Herring Pond Tribe and how they fit into Plymouth and the history of Plymouth, and just kind of teaching kids of all ages.
Well, I think a lot of the work that we do now is to reconnect our youth and our elders and all of our membership back to the traditional times. And we may lose sight of those things in this modern world that we live in with the modern tools, and it's critical and to teach them and show them in this visual learning, and that is this coloring book about their culture and about some
Herring
of the
Pond
traditions.
Wampanoag artist Quincy Harding is an artist, and she created the design in our own coloring book.
I want it to be something that they are proud of, that they can relate to, that they are proud to show, family and friends about their culture. I also think, I want them to learn about it as well. And I think even, as an artist too, like obviously all kids like coloring books, but being able to like color it in, show people, and even like hang it up on the fridge, like show your friends. I think that's something that will make other kids interested, help them learn, and overall hopefully build the community even bigger.
Storytelling comes in all kinds of forms. And when you pair storytelling in a coloring book, you're now interacting with that. Not only the person who's coloring the book, but the parent or the guardian or family member who's reading it. Now everybody's sharing in, learning these new stories about this very vibrant and rich culture.
Their longevity in the community and their livelihood, which we don't really know a lot about at times. We did not learn a lot about it in school, and it is our hope that if we provide this to young people, that it'll be more part of the fabric of what we learn every day.
I learned about how North America, people like to say Turtle Island because it kind of shapes like a turtle.
It was important to tell the history of the Herring Pond Wampanoag culture to our children that are Native and non-Native children, because unfortunately our story has been diminished and a lot of people don't know about it. So for us to let people know around Plymouth and other areas that we're still here is very important to us.
I have an 11-year-old granddaughter, and I think her, when she was about 6, she had watched a presentation and we were included in it. And I said to her, when you talk about it in school and does it make you feel happy, or what do you feel, and I was so fearful that she would say, oh, I'm embarrassed, or it makes me feel awkward. And she said, oh, it makes me feel so important and special. So it really does build their morale to be acknowledged, and especially the coloring book. How fun is that, right?
It was important for us to co-collaborate with the tribe and tell their story and let them tell their story. We're so proud that Quincy Harding, who is a tribe member, illustrated the book.
I think it was an honor to be asked to do the coloring book. I've been wanting to get more involved in the tribe, so I think this is really up my alley. I think the whole community is really great, and I think them giving me this chance to kind of like do my part, I think is really amazing for my career and just to be more involved.
These stories represent important, conversations and parts of their culture that, we've all learned from. The Three Sisters Garden, wampum, things of that nature. We just really wanted to get the word out and help people understand the beauty of what is right in front of them. And when you visit Plymouth, that there is the story of the people who colonized it, and there is the story of the people who resided here before and are still here now.
It's critical and to teach them and show them in this visual learning, and that is this coloring book about their culture and about some of the traditions. And it's just really amazing for them to see their history written, to see their name in print, talking about their nation and their people and our traditions that we have that are maybe different from others. Each tribe is unique in itself, and it does give our youth really a sense of individuality and self, I feel.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button before you go. We'll see you next time.